Right, welcome back. I'm now painting the clear window parts. Now, I've just done the front, around the edges of the front windscreen and the rear screen. Now with the kit, you get supplied a masking sheet, so you got A and B. So turning this over, A's for the front windscreen and B's for the rear screen. Now these are very thin but very sticky at the same time. Now when you lay these down, there is like a line on the inside of the screen, so you will know where to put them exactly. Then I went round the edges in the Pledge Future, but then I realised, well, I'm going to have to put some tape on the outside because I don't want any paint getting on the insides of the windows for the sides. Going to the plans on the second part of step 10, it's only telling you to paint around the masks on the edge of the front and the rear screens. So I've got my Tamiya curve tape and I've put them on the edge of the side windows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I sealed those with a Pledge once the tape had settled. And then I've painted on my black paint. Took me 4 coats to get it right. But turning this over, that's not looking too bad at all. I mean, you got that bit there, but I think that's on the inside of the mask. I don't think it's on the windscreen itself. Only time will tell when I take the tape off and the masks. So I've just got to take the masks and tape off now. And the masking continues, this time on the main body shell. So what I've got to do, I've got to put a black line around the edges of the front and rear screens. As it says on the plans there, in step 13. And a more detailed look in step 14. So you've got to go all the way around the edges and on the insides of the windows on the top of the door. So that's what I've done. I've got my 1mm curve tape, gone round the bottom of the door, gone round the side to the top edge of the roof, getting in that little groove channel as well because I only want to paint that edge. And I've done round the windscreen and on the sides as well. And you can see the little line between the top edge of the door to the roof and then down the back side of the back there. Took me about 40 minutes to lay this masking tape. All I've got to do now is just seal it with the Future and then paint that in the black. Taking the kit supplied masks away and my Tamiya curve tape, the windscreen and the rear window, it's absolutely looking brilliantly. The lines are really crisp. The Pledge Future did its job. And trying to remove the kit supplied masks off was a bit difficult because they were very, very sticky indeed. So I had to get my knife underneath and then peel a bit away and then getting my tweezers and slowly pulling it off. But I was actually quite glad that they were as sticky as they were because these lines are absolutely crisp. Absolutely fantastic. All I've got to do now, I've got to remask this from there all the way across to there because the plans call for you to paint that bit there in what colour was that now? X19, which is smoke, which is going to be that. So I've just got to remask that and then paint the smoke on. But I'm loving how these have turned out. Them absolutely brilliant. I've now glued all the mesh into place. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of mesh. Now on the nose mesh here, this one here, even though I cut all these pieces out perfect on the guide, the nose mesh was slightly too big, because if you see, there's an inside wall there, lipped wall, and there's a lipped wall on this side, and it wouldn't go in. So I had to trim these edges away, test fit it, then I trimmed a bit more, test fitted it until I got it right, and then it sat in that two little side walls perfect. The main grille on the front bumper, I had to trim that slightly as well. So once I've got them right, I then glued them into place. So with the top bonnet part, I just put it into the position I wanted it to, and then just ran the super glue very, very gently around the edges, and then got my cocktail stick and put the super glue in between each hole of the mesh to get it to glue in. Let that dry. Then I did the same for the nose, the main grille, and the side grille. Now this piece here, I had to wait till last, because on the top of the bonnet there's a triangular part, number A7. I had to glue that in first, then glue the mesh on the underneath. So turning the main body shell over, here's that part in question, number A7, this triangular piece. Now going to step 14, which is final construction, I'm nowhere near step 14 yet. There's the part in question, number A7. So it just drops in that hole. So I test fitted it, it fit perfect, so I painted it in the white. Once the white had dried, I then test fitted it back into that triangular hole, and then got a pencil and marked off where I've got to have it to blend into the Marlboro triangle. So I masked that little bottom corner off with the white, and then spray painted the rest of A7 in red. Once that dry, I then popped it back in the hole, glued it from the underneath, and then glued the mesh on. And as you can see, through the nose part, the bonnet holes there, that looks really nice. So does the A7. And then you've got the nose, the main front grille, and the side grille. I'm loving how this mesh looks. Way better than the kit supplied mesh. Right, welcome back. I've now glued the main window part into the inside of the main body shell. Now going on to the second part of step 11. The main window part is D8. So as you know from the previous update, I put the kit supplied masks on to do all the outer parts of the rear screen and the windscreen. I also masked off 7mm so I can paint the smoke on, which is X19. Took about 4 coats to do that, and as you can see, I've now removed the tape. So mounting the complete D8 window section into the interior of the body shell was dead easy. It actually dropped straight in, no problem at all. So what I did is I took it back out, I ran my glue round the edges of the windows with the little window frames. You got that there, you got the upright there, the middle of the door parting. You've got the diagonal piece of the edge of the windscreen on both sides, and again the glue there, the glue there, glue there. Once I got that in, I then got 4 rubber lined clothes pegs and put one in each corner through the fender wells. So I put one there, one here, and one here. While the glue was drying, then I ran I basically used the glue and glaze. So then ran the glue around the edges, you can probably just see the little sheen there, and then round the edge of the bottom part of the edge, and just let that set for 24 hours. Yeah, pretty much 24 hours, and you can see it's now glued in perfect. So now that's done, I can now address, again on step 11, you've got the C11 engine block. So going round to C11, I painted that in the black, inside and out, and then I just picked out the little bits and detailing as it says on the plans there. So you've got aluminium, red and blue, and basically what you do with that, it tells you then to glue it in upside down on top of the engine opening with the mesh. And there's a pin there, I don't know if you can make it out, there's a pin there and there's a pin there, and then that side piece will actually go where A7 went, just below it. So to just do a test fit now, and that will basically, you've got the two holes there, and those will sit on top of the pins, and that will roughly sit there like that. So I've just got to glue that in, and then once that's glued in, this entire body shell with the clear parts and the mesh will then be glued onto the interior and the chassis. Right, I'm now getting ready to put the outer shell on top of the interior and chassis. From the previous update, I've now glued that engine part in, so that's nice and glued in now. I just ran the super glue round the two pins and the pinholes, and then round the top edge of the engine part, let that set, and then I just got my normal Revel glue and went round the edges to give it a bit of extra security. Now I don't know how well you can probably just make it out. If I can, yeah, there we go, just switch the flash on. You can just make out the interior parts of that engine piece. Just turn that off. So this is now the last time you're going to see this as two separate parts.